Welcome to Thursdays in the Kitchen with UT Extension. Starring Family Consumer Science Agent Shelby Boyer of Trousdale County, Michaela Pedigo of Macon County, and Kate Tippett of Sumner County. Now sit back and enjoy as we see what's cooking in the kitchen.
Hey everyone, Shelby Boyer here, and I am here today to bring you another episode of Thursdays in the Kitchen with UT Extension. So today, we are going to be making a super fun and easy recipe that I know that you're going to love. So of course, we are on the rise and outside of this pandemic, but one of the things that you probably still have left over in your cabinet is canned corn. So I know that there was an abundance of it and people are grabbing stuff like that still left and right. So if you have that canned corn in your cabinet and you don't really know what to do with it, you put it on the stove and you've cooked it, you've added it to casseroles or whatever that you've been using your canned corn for, and you want to use it for something else, this is a recipe that I know that you're going to love. So today, we are going to be making corn fritters. These are super easy, doesn't have that many ingredients in them, and this is going to be a new side dish that you could use to pair for your weekly family dinners. All right, so I've got my hands washed, so let's get started. Your ingredients that you're going to be using for your corn fritters. You need one 15-ounce can of drained corn, and I have rinsed it off. You're going to need a half a cup of flour, a half a cup of shredded cheese, and I'm using triple cheddar cheese. You can literally use any kind of cheese that you want to. It's no big deal, just as long as it's shredded. And then I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and just some salt and pepper to taste, and 2 eggs. You're going to need the oil and the butter for frying, and but other than that, that's basically it. So let's get started on these. So in my mixing bowl, I have got both of my eggs in here that I've already cracked open and put in my bowl, and I've got my salt and pepper. So what I did is I literally just kind of took my salt and just went over it a couple times, really just because it is to taste. And my pepper, I just put a few dashes in here. But it's literally up to you however much you want to use. And I'm going to add in my half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Now that you've got all of these ingredients in there, you're going to poke your yolk just so they can whisk better, and you're going to beat this and whisk this up. Eggs are beat up, and this is going to act as your binder for your corn fritters. Now, I'm going to put in my half a cup of flour. Just put all that in there. And I'm going to put in my 1 teaspoon of my baking powder. All right. And then you're just going to whisk this up until there's no lumps and it's all well combined. Now you have got your batter made, and you're going to add in your whole entire can of corn and your cheese. And you're going to fold all this together until it is combined. All right, so these are going to be ready for frying. Okay, so I have some butter and some oil that has been heating up in my pan. I've used probably about a tablespoon of vegetable oil and just a pat of butter. And it has been heating up, and you can see that everything is melted. It's all nice and bubbly. And I'm going to start spooning in the fritters. So you want to have a plate with some paper towels on it to kind of drain off your fritters once they get done frying. And you have your mixture, and you also want to make sure that you have a spoon that you can use to just kind of spoonfuls of the mixture into your butter and oil. So I've got my mixture ready, and I've got my butter and stuff ready. It's looking good. I'm just going to take a spoonful. It could be any size that you want, and put them in my butter and oil and just kind of pat them out. All right, and so these are going to cook and just kind of fry up, and it usually will take probably about 7 to 10 minutes. Just depends on how hot you've got your pan. I've just turned mine up about medium. They're going to fry up nicely. corn fritters are complete, and I have got them out, and they have been sitting on a paper towel draining. I did salt them when I took them off, so that way they would have salt flavor on the outside. Also, just to make note, you would want to change your butter and your oil out of your frying pan unless you're using one big frying pan. Since I used a smaller one in order to control them better, you probably want to switch it out because it will burn. But let's cut into these and see what they look like. All right, so now it is time to try their corn fritters. So I'm going to show you what they look like. Easy to pick up. Cheesy. They have a good crunch and they hold up together well, so that is a plus. So let's see what they look like. Nice and doughy on the inside. Oh yeah. Super, super good. This is a really good side dish to make. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. These can be so versatile. You can add so many different things. You can even top them with like sauce or whatever you want to do. Super, super good. Okay, so I'm going to enjoy my corn fritters. But next up, you're going to have Michaela Pettigo, and she's going to talk to you about all kinds of nutrition facts that is going to be found, of course, in nothing other but corn. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Thank you, Shelby, for showing us how to make corn fritters. Now I'm going to cover nutrition facts about corn. Corn is a staple in cuisines all around the world. In the United States, nothing says summertime quite like corn on the cob. While plenty of people enjoy corn, many don't realize that it's actually a very nutritious crop. Depending on how it's prepared, corn can provide the best of both worlds, a delicious food that's good for your health. The following nutrition information is provided by the USDA for 1 medium ear of sweet yellow corn, which is about a half cup of corn kernels. It provides 88 calories, 1.4 grams of fat, 15 milligrams of natural sodium, 19 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of fiber, and 3.3 grams of protein. Sweet corn is also high in niacin and folate. Fiber is only found in plant foods. The two types of fiber that are found in food include insoluble and soluble fiber. Both types of fiber are important for your health because they have different functions in the body. Let's go over those. Insoluble fiber helps with digestion. This type of fiber, also known as roughage, helps keep the digestive system healthy. It adds bulk to foods and acts as a natural broom, moving food through the digestive system. Good sources of insoluble fiber are whole grains, fruit with skins, and vegetables. Soluble fiber has protective benefits. This type of fiber helps to lower blood cholesterol levels and to regulate blood sugar levels. Good dietary sources of soluble fiber are fruits, vegetables, oats, barley, and dried beans. Did you know that as soon as corn is picked off of the stalk, the sugar in the kernels begins to turn into starch? Starch hardens the kernels of the corn. To slow down this process, fresh corn should be kept cool, such as in the refrigerator. Frozen and canned corn are economical and healthy substitutions for fresh corn, but try to remember tips mentioned in previous episodes to be mindful of ways to decrease the amount of sodium that you consume from preserved vegetables, such as choosing no salt added or low sodium options. Now to Kate for stovetop safety tips.
Thank you so much, Michaela. So today I would like to go over with you the top 5 safety tips when it comes to cooking on the stovetop. With the rainy weather that we've been having, sometimes going outside to grill isn't an option, so we're using our stovetop. So let's go ahead and get started with our safety tips. Our first tip is to cook with caution and care. You want to make sure that you're always working with a clean stovetop. This means on top of the stovetop as well as underneath, if your stovetop allows you to do as seen in the picture. You want to make sure that your area is always clear and clean of any grease buildup as well as leftover food debris. When you're cooking, do not leave your food unattended. You want to make sure, especially if you're working with medium heat or higher, that you stay with the food to make sure that it does not burn as well as a fire not starting. You want to use pot holders when needed. Sometimes the handles can get very, very hot, so you want to protect your hands. Whenever in doubt, use a pot holder or an oven mitt. You also want to make sure you're using the correct utensils. So as you can see in the picture, you would not want to use a full metal spoon when working with a hot item in a saucepan or a skillet on the stovetop, because it will hold the heat of the pan, which means it will transfer to your hand and burn you. Instead, you want to use a wooden spoon or a spoon with some sort of rubber or plastic handle, so it will not burn your hand. Also, you want to make sure that pan handles are always turned inward. You do not want them hanging off the edge as seen in the top picture, because those can be knocked off or grabbed by small children. You want them to be turned inward. Also, notice the saucepan size and the skillet size. They match up to the correct eye. So you want to make sure that the sizes match up. Otherwise, your food may cook faster than you wanted it to. So make sure that you're matching up those sizes. The second tip is to keep flammable items away. So you want to make sure that your long sleeves, your long hair, any jewelry or scarves that may be dangling down are definitely pulled back, or you do not wear those while you are cooking with the stovetop. You also do not want loose hand towels or paper towels near those hot stovetop eyes, and you do not want any clutter. The third one is to protect children and pets. So always keep a close watch. Nowadays, our children around us all the time. I know very well with my little 6-year-old who is my shadow. But it's fine as long as you're keeping a close watch on them in the kitchen. If you have much younger children or you do have pets that like to get in there, installing baby gates may be an option. Also, they have locking knob covers to make sure that your child does not turn on the gas and you do not have a gas leak. And also just that panhandle reminder, do not have them off the edge, which would be tempting to the little ones. The fourth tip is to keep a fire extinguisher close. You never, ever put water on a cooking fire. I consider all cooking fires a grease fire, so I would never, ever put water on them because it instantly turns to steam and creates an explosion. So what you do instead is cover it securely with the lid and turn off the heat. Do not remove the lid, because once that fresh air hits it, it will reignite. Also, you could use salt or baking soda, but we're talking about using the whole container. You would go ahead and rip off the lid and use the entire box. If it called for a fire extinguisher, make sure you have an ABC fire extinguisher that allows you to use them on cooking fires, but you would follow the pass method. As you can see in the picture, you pull the pin, you aim at the base of the fire, you squeeze the lever, and you use a sweeping motion. Whenever in doubt, if the flames are too high, call 911 and get out immediately. The last tip is to protect your home. So check smoke detectors monthly. If something like what I was just stating occurred where the fire got out of control, smoke detectors would be going off. You're calling 911. You're doing whatever you need to protect your home. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Thursdays in the Kitchen. I hope you love our recipe as well as our nutrition facts. and these safety tips. Until next time, bye-bye.